works, right? So this is the explanation that I have given already there. Now we have another mechanism, something called as bit-oriented framing. So now we had done, so far we have seen byte-oriented framing, where we have introduced 2 bytes of information. That means 8 bytes extra here, 8 bytes. So total 16 extra bytes have been added here to the frame part, to the entire frame part. Total 16 bits. So 8 bits extra here, 8 bits extra here. Do we have any mechanism to save these this thing? So we have something called as bit oriented framing. So in bit oriented framing, data section of a frame is a sequence of bits only, right? So those sequence of bits can be text, what I meant to say, data, it can be graphic data, it can be audio, video, whatever it is, right? So in addition to headers, we still, delimiter is needed. Delimiter means to indicate the beginning of the frame comprising of several bits and end of the frame comprising of, several bits. So generally most protocols use this particular flag pattern, 8-bit flag pattern. So what is that? This is nothing but 0 at the beginning, 0 at the end, and followed by 6 zeros. Of course, this bit pattern for flag is always kind of network dependent, so protocol dependent. So how the protocol programmers they implement the flag, it is after them. So this is what, assuming that this is the 8-bit pattern for this. So I have 6 what I meant to say ones which are placed within 2 zeros, one on left side, one on right side. So this is taken as delimiter, which delimits one frame from other what I'm saying frame. That delimits means it distinguishes and tells that this is the beginning of the frame, this is the end of the frame. You got the idea? Now here we have the scenario. So I have a header part, trailer part, and this is the data part. This is the whole data part. And it is having what I meant to say, see the bit pattern in the flag is like this. Now we have a scenario here, very similar scenario. Some of the what I meant to say ones are there that are embedded within zeros. Here also the same type of scenario is there. So this is the data from upper layer. This is the data from upper layer, a variable number of bits, and right. And if here in this case, flag is not what I meant to say part of the data here. I meant to say as seemingly, because flag has been defined as 0 at left side, 0 at right side, and 6 ones that are embedded within. So if hello, please switch off your put yourself on mute, Shantini. Put yourself on mute. Okay, fine. So if the flag pattern appears within the data, flag pattern appears means 0 followed by 6, what I meant to say ones, and followed by 0. If this is what I meant to say for is there, in that case what we will do is we'll do something called as bit stuffing. So in bit stuffing, if 0 and consecutive 5 ones are encountered, we will put extra 0 here, extra 0 here at the end. So what is done here, to indicate that we should not encounter a flag within the data part, what I'll be doing is, if 0 is there followed by 5 ones, because there is a 6th one, the moment 6th one and 0 is there, it's a flag. So receiver will understand that this is the end of the what I meant to say bit frame, and it will stop reading the remaining data part. So to distinguish that, what it does is, if the data part is having 0 followed by 5 ones, it embeds a 0. So I have shown by this pattern. So next we can see in next diagram how exactly this happens. So here I can see here this data part is having 0 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. and this is there. So the scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here what it will be doing is the moment this type of scenario is there, to represent this flag different from this data after 0 if 5 consecutive ones are encountered, because flag is after 0, 6 6 ones are there. So to distinguish that 6 ones, what it will do after the moment followed by 0, if 5 ones are encountered, 1 1 1 1, so you can see 5 ones are encountered, it will put a 0. Similarly, here also you can see after 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there. It will, stuff another bit shown through red, what I mean to say 0. So here I have stuffing, I have filled here with 0. So how much of filling I have done there? In the previous method, I have done the byte stuffing. That means 2 bytes, that is 16 bits were stuffed in a single frame. And here in the single frame, I have stuffed only 2 bits. So you can see massive storage space. If suppose there are tens of thousands of frames that need to be, sent from sender end to receiver end, how much of what I meant to say data I'll be saving, how much of data I'll be saving. So while unstuffing, what it will be doing is, while unstuffing, data comes to know, I mean to say receiver comes to know 0 followed by 5 ones. If there is a 0, it will know that this is a bit stuffing, and 0 followed by 5 ones followed by a 0. It understands that this are stuffed bits which need to be removed. So you can see here 0 followed by 5 ones, and this 0 has been removed, and this is recovered, remaining 2. And here 0 followed by 5 ones, not that is 0, that is removed, so there is only 1 0, and then followed by 1. So this is entire. So this is where the bit stuffing has been done. This is where the bit stuffing has been done. Okay, so this is how we achieve something called as bit stuffing. So why I have done this? Just to indicate that, my frame is delimited. Delimited means distinguished from other frames by putting a flag, what I meant to say, at the beginning of the frame, at the end of the frame, and inner part will have header part and trailer part. So now if the bit patterns that are present in the data inside the frame, data part inside the frame is having flag pattern, so I'll just after every, if a 0 is followed by 5 ones, I'll stuff a additional 0 here. And again, if I find after 0, 5 ones are there, I'll stuff again a 0 here, like this. It will go at the receiving end. These additional stuffings are removed. So this is how it is incorporated. Now we'll study something called as flow control. Now we'll study something called as flow control. Now flow control is enforced. Last time also I had discussed already. You got the idea that this is a sender, and this is a receiver. You got the idea? Now, whenever there is a mismatch between this receiver, may be a end host or it may be a router. So I can say that it can be a end host. Receiver may be end host. You got the idea? Or it can be a router, intermediate, intermediate this thing. So it can be a router, anything of that form. So now what is happening, this flow control, how exactly it comes into picture. This you got the idea of flow control, how exactly it comes into picture. So whenever there is a mismatch between the sending rate of the sender and the processing rate of the receiver, assume that sender can send the data at 1 Mbps rate. Sender can send the data at the rate of 1 Mbps. So here 1 Mbps means I'll have, this is the scenario, 1 Mbps is the rate. And the receiver or the host can process only 512 KB. 512 KB. You got the idea? PS, kbps. That means only 0.5, Mbps. So this is equal to zero point 0.5 Mbps, zero point 0.5 Mbps. So there is a mismatch. The rate of sending of the sender is 1 Mbps, which is a high speed, and rate of processing of the bits is only zero point 0.5 Mbps. 0.5 Mbps means 512 kbps. So in this case, this particular what I'm saying receiver either will do what? It will simply drop all the extra bits that are coming. So 512 bits it will process, and beyond that it cannot process. So per second, assuming that 512 bits per second it can process, but sender is sending 1024 bits per second. So it can process only 512 out of 1024 bits, and remaining 512 bits it will drop. This receiving host or router will drop, right? Because it gets choked, or it is getting overwhelmed. So it will simply discard some of the items. It will simply discard some of the items, right? So how exactly this scenario is taken care, right? So this scenario is nothing but, in this scenario, the sending node is frames. It will go on pushing to the receiving node. And if receiving node feels that I am getting overwhelmed, that is, I am going to be filled with data which I am unable to process, so it will inform to the sending source that you reduce the speed, that I can process only at the speed of 512 kbps, so you please reduce your sending speed also to 512 kbps. So this is so the receiver node is enforcing control of the flow of the data, control of the enforcing control, because it is exercising control over the flow of the data, exercising control over the flow of the data from sending end to receiving end. So this is what happens. So here receiving node is unable to process the data what it is receiving, so it will simply inform to the sender that you reduce your speed. Now how exactly this can be done? So this flow control in any network can be implemented in many ways. There are several ways are there, and one way is nothing but at the receiving side. Suppose I have a sender here. You got the idea? I have a sender here. So this is my sender, right? And this is my receiver. This is my receiver. So as I said, this receiver can be either a host. You got the idea? It can be a end host. You got the idea? Or it can be a router. Assuming that for my purpose, I am taking it as a router. I am taking it as a router. I am taking it as a router. So this is a router. You got the idea? This is a router. Now, what is happening here? It will always have, the receiver or the router will always have something called as buffer. You got the idea? Buffer is nothing but temporary memory location that is available with the router to accommodate the data that is coming from source part, from the sending source, You got the idea? So it will go on, say, suppose it can now, this router can accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packets or frames that are coming from sending source to this router. So, but assuming that in a second it can hold only 5 packets, assuming that router can hold only 5 packets, but sender is sending 10 packets per second. 10 packets per second means now what will happen? This will get filled. 5 packets will get filled, and 5 packets will not find space in what I meant to say, this buffer. So what it will be done, this extra 5 packets will be dropped by the receiver, right? So that is what happens. So, so in that case, to avoid what I meant to say, uh, dropping the packets, the receiver will exercise a concept called as flow control. So it will inform to the sender of the data that you reduce your speed. You got the idea, or you stop pushing the frames, right? Stop pushing the frames. So this is what happens. So this is the scenario. Now, why what I mean to say this particular error control. Now, next is error control. So, whatever we had discussed so far was something about flow control. So, flow control is always exercised by the receiving station. Receiving station, whenever it is unable to, when it will exercise the what I mean to say flow control, when it is unable to process all the data that is coming from sender, it cannot process it or it cannot keep it in buffer. So it is getting overwhelmed. That means it is getting filled, it is getting choked, it is getting jammed. So it will inform to the sender that you either reduce the speed of what I'm to say sending the data, or do not send at all. Right. So in CRC method, CRC, now error control, how exactly this will be done. So whenever the data passes, so we have a sender, you got the idea, we have a sender, we have a receiver. Now this receiver, as I said, you got the idea, it can be a router, or it can be a end host, right? So whenever what I mean to say, the frame is traveling in the form of signals, you got the idea. Frame, you got the idea, will be converted into signals. Will be converted into signals, right? Will be converted into signals, electrical signals, and sent across the medium. Is sent across the medium. You got the idea. Is sent across the medium. Now I am saying that this is a copper wire which is carrying these electromagnetic pulses, electromagnetic signals. Now at this particular point, it is passing through very high tension lines, electrical lines. Say it is 22 kV lines, 22 kV lines, kilovolts line, 22 kilovolts line, which generates a huge magnetic field. You got the idea, 20 kVA lines, which generates a huge magnetic field, and assuming that this copper wire is passing just below these high tension wires. So some of these electrical pulses, zeros and ones, may get changed. So the receiver, since in the frame I told you, the trailer part is having something called as cyclic redundancy check, that is error control mechanism. So here I'll have CRC embedded, and we have seen already how to calculate CRC and all. You got that a CRC will be there. So this data has changed. The moment what I meant to say, the data has changed while traveling from this place, sending source to the receiving source. This data gets changed. Some of the zeros they become one, some of the ones they become zero, and the whole data gets changed. Now here what happens at the receiving end, this receiver will calculate checksum over the data received, and whatever CRC it calculates. So it is called calculated CRC. So this receiver will also calculate the CRC over the data that it has received. And if this CRC is not matching with the CRC that was embedded into the frame, indicates that some of the bits have got changed, and it has to discard this particular packet. But if this calculated CRC is exactly equal to the CRC which was received in the frame, in that case, this entire data is accepted by this router for sending it to the next what I'm saying, router or end host. This is what is the mechanism of error. What I meant to say. Uh, error control. So in the first method, what happens? There are two methods. Now, how this error control is incorporated? In the first method, if the frame is corrupted, if the frame is found that calculated CRC is not exactly same as the CRC which was received along with the frame, then the receiver will do what is silently it will drop the packet. It will simply discard the packet without informing anything to the source. Without informing anything to the source. In second method, if frame is found to be corrupted, it will be the receiver will discard the packet. But in this case, you got the idea. In this case, uh, if the data that is sent by the sender is not corrupted, you got the idea, is not corrupted. So this data will be accepted and acknowledgement of receiving the data is sent back to the sender. So sender understands that my data has reached safely to the receiver, You see, this is what. And in the first method, no acknowledgement is sent. So how exactly various systems will, what I meant to say, behave with this? So some of the systems, they will incorporate flow and error control both together. You got the idea? And it depends on the acknowledgement that is sent by the receiver, that flow control has to be exercised. And if error has occurred in the frame, it will require that sender should send another copy of the same frame which was previously sent, because the previously sent frame was found to be error, right? So both of them, they can be, what I meant to say, implemented together. So now we will see